Imagine discovering an object buried underground, an object created nearly 2,000 years ago, an object so strange that even today, nobody can say with certainty what it was actually used for. No instructions, no written explanation, no ancient records describing its purpose. Just a mysterious shape, appearing again and again across the Roman Empire. Today, we're uncovering 7 ancient artifacts that shouldn't exist. Artifacts so unusual that they continue to challenge historians, archaeologists, and researchers even now. And trust me, the artifact at number 1 is so advanced that some scientists compared it to finding a modern computer in the ancient world. Let's begin. Before we do, remember this. Every artifact on this list is real. They exist. They can be seen in museums, and yet many of them remain unexplained. Our journey begins in ancient Rome, the Roman Dodecahedron. Imagine you're an archaeologist excavating an ancient Roman settlement. You brush away the dirt and uncover a small metallic object. At first glance, it looks almost alien. 12 perfectly shaped pentagonal faces, circular holes of different sizes, strange knobs protruding from every corner, no markings, no inscriptions, no clues. Just a mysterious geometric object. This is the Roman Dodecahedron. More than 100 examples have been discovered across Europe, from England to Germany to France, and almost all of them date back nearly 1,700 years. Now here's where things become strange. Nobody knows what they were for. Not historians, not archaeologists, not engineers. Nobody. Some researchers believe they were measuring instruments. Others think they were religious objects. A few suggest they may have been used for astronomy. And some theories are even stranger. Knitting tools, military rangefinders, ancient calendars. The problem? No theory explains every example, and not a single Roman document ever clearly mentions them. Think about that. The Romans documented almost everything: their laws, their wars, their buildings, their taxes. Yet somehow, the purpose of this object disappeared completely. Imagine creating a tool so common that hundreds are produced, only for humanity to forget what it was for forever. Even after centuries of study, the mystery remains unsolved. So let me ask you, what do you think the Roman dodecahedron was used for? A scientific instrument? A religious artifact? Or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments. But as mysterious as the Roman dodecahedron is, our next artifact raises an even more disturbing question. A question that shouldn't even be possible. What if ancient people discovered electricity long before modern civilization? Our next artifact takes us to ancient Iraq, the Baghdad Battery. In the 1930s, workers excavating near Baghdad uncovered a curious object. It didn't look extraordinary at first, just a small clay jar, the kind of thing archaeologists find all the time. But inside, they discovered something unexpected: a copper cylinder, an iron rod, and traces of an acidic substance. Separately, these pieces seem ordinary. Together, they resemble something surprisingly familiar: a battery. Scientists later recreated the artifact using similar materials, and something incredible happened. It produced electricity. Not a lot, but enough to generate a measurable electrical current. Suddenly, a shocking possibility emerged. Could people nearly 2,000 years ago have understood electricity? Could ancient craftsmen have discovered a principle that wouldn't officially be developed again until the modern age? Some researchers think the answer is yes. They suggest the device may have been used for electroplating, a process that uses electricity to coat one metal with another. Others strongly disagree. They argue that there is no evidence the artifact was ever intended as a battery. According to them, it may simply have been a storage container, or part of a completely unrelated device. And that is where the debate remains today, because unlike modern batteries, there are no wires, no instruction manuals, no surviving texts explaining its purpose, just a jar, a metal cylinder, and a mystery that refuses to disappear. Imagine discovering proof that ancient people experimented with electricity. How much of history would we need to rewrite? How many assumptions would suddenly become questionable? The Baghdad Battery forces us to confront an uncomfortable possibility. Sometimes, the past may have been more advanced than we assume. Here's another question for you. Do you believe the Baghdad Battery was truly an ancient battery? Or is there a simpler explanation? Tell me your thoughts below. But if you think a possible ancient battery is impressive, our next artifact does something that looks impossible even today. A cup. A simple drinking cup. That changes color before your eyes. Our next journey takes us back to ancient Rome. The Lycurgus Cup. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary Roman drinking cup. Beautiful, ancient, and valuable. But there is something extraordinary about it. Something that shouldn't be possible for an artifact nearly 1,700 years old. Place light in front of the cup, and it appears green. Move the light behind it, and suddenly it turns deep red. The same object, two completely different colors. Imagine showing this to someone in the Roman Empire. They would probably think it was magic. And honestly, even modern scientists were amazed when they discovered how it worked. For years, nobody understood the secret. Then researchers examined the glass under powerful microscopes. What they found was astonishing. Mixed into the glass were tiny particles of gold and silver, so small that thousands could fit across the width of a human hair. Today, we call this nanotechnology, the ability to manipulate materials at an incredibly small scale. Yet somehow, Roman craftsmen created this effect nearly 2,000 years ago. Of course, they didn't understand modern physics. They didn't have electron microscopes. They didn't have advanced laboratories. And yet, they produced a cup with properties that still impress scientists today. Was it accidental? Was it intentional? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. The Lycurgus Cup proves that ancient craftsmen were often far more skilled than we imagine. Let me ask you something. Do you think the color-changing effect was discovered by accident, or do you believe Roman artisans knew exactly what they were doing? Comment below. But while the Lycurgus Cup challenges what we know about ancient technology, our next artifact challenges what we know about ancient astronomy. An object buried underground for thousands of years. An object that appears to show the stars themselves. Our next journey takes us to Germany, the Nebra Sky Disk. Imagine walking through a field with a metal detector. Suddenly, you uncover a bronze disk covered in strange golden symbols. At first, it doesn't seem extraordinary, but then researchers begin studying it, and everything changes. The disk is over 3,000 years old. Yet engraved on its surface are what appear to be the sun, the moon, and stars, including a cluster many researchers identify as the Pleiades star system. Think about that. This wasn't a simple decoration. It appears to be a representation of the night sky itself, one of the oldest ever discovered. Even more surprising, the positions of the symbols may have helped ancient people track the movement of celestial bodies, helping them understand seasons, agriculture, and the changing sky above them. Imagine holding an object in your hands that was created before the rise of many famous ancient civilizations. An object that may have helped people understand the universe thousands of years before telescopes existed. The Nebra Sky Disk reminds us of something important. Ancient people spent far more time studying the heavens than most of us do today. The stars guided them, fed them, and helped them survive. Here's a question. If you could own one artifact from this list, which would you choose so far? The Roman Dodecahedron, the Baghdad Battery, the Lycurgus Cup, or the Nebra Sky Disk? Let me know below. But as remarkable as the Nebra Sky Disk is, our next artifact may be even more controversial. Because this time, we're not talking about a mysterious object. We're talking about a map that some people believe knew things it shouldn't have known. A map created centuries ago, yet one that appears surprisingly accurate. Our next journey takes us across the seas to one of the most debated maps in history, the Piri Reis Map. Our next journey takes us across the seas to one of the most debated maps in history, the Piri Reis Map. Imagine discovering a map created more than 500 years ago, a map drawn long before satellites, long before airplanes, long before modern navigation systems. And yet, parts of it appear surprisingly accurate. The story begins in 1929. Researchers examining an old Ottoman palace library uncovered a fragment of a world map created by the famous Admiral Piri Reis. At first, it seemed like an ordinary historical document, but the more experts studied it, the stranger it became. The map showed portions of Europe, Africa, and South America, with a level of detail that surprised many historians. Piri Reis himself wrote that he compiled the map using older source maps, some of which were already ancient in his own time. That statement sparked endless debate. Where did those older maps come from? Who created them? And how accurate were they? Some researchers argue the mystery is exaggerated. Others believe the map preserves fragments of geographical knowledge that should not have existed in that era. Whatever the truth may be, the Piri Reis Map remains one of history's most fascinating cartographic mysteries. Imagine inheriting pieces of knowledge from civilizations long forgotten, knowledge passed from generation to generation, century after century, until only fragments remained. Perhaps that is exactly what happened here. What do you think? Was the Piri Reis Map simply the result of skilled navigation, or does it hint at lost knowledge from the distant past? Let me know in the comments. But if you think a mysterious map is difficult to explain, our next artifact is even stranger. Because this time, we're not looking at an object, we're looking at a book that has defeated historians, linguists, cryptographers, and even artificial intelligence. Our second artifact takes us to one of the greatest mysteries ever written, the Voynich Manuscript. Imagine opening a book and realizing you cannot read a single word, not because it's damaged, not because pages are missing, but because the language itself appears completely unknown. This is the Voynich Manuscript, a book that has puzzled researchers for over a century. Its pages are filled with strange symbols, unknown words, mysterious diagrams, and illustrations of plants that do not appear to exist anywhere on Earth. Some pages show astronomical charts, others depict unusual biological drawings, and many contain writing that belongs to no known language. Over the years, countless experts attempted to decode it. Professional cryptographers, World War code breakers, university researchers, computer scientists, and even advanced AI systems. Yet the manuscript continues to resist explanation. Some believe it contains a genuine lost language. Others think it may be an elaborate code. A few suggest it could be the greatest historical hoax ever created. But if it is a hoax, it is an extraordinarily sophisticated one. Because even after hundreds of years, nobody has successfully explained how it was made. Imagine holding a book in your hands, a book filled with information, yet nobody on Earth can understand what it says. Not today, not yesterday, and perhaps not for centuries. The Voynich Manuscript reminds us that some mysteries refuse to surrender their secrets, no matter how advanced we become. Here's a question for you. If scientists finally decoded the Voynich Manuscript tomorrow, what do you think it would contain? Ancient knowledge, a secret code, or something completely unexpected? Tell me below. But as mysterious as the Voynich Manuscript is, our final artifact may be the most astonishing object on this entire list, because unlike every other mystery we've discussed, this artifact actually works, and what it does should have been impossible. Our final journey takes us beneath the waters of Greece, the Antikythera Mechanism. In 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck discovered a corroded lump of bronze. At first, it appeared worthless, just another damaged relic from the ancient world. But when researchers examined it more closely, they noticed something extraordinary. Gears, tiny gears, dozens of them, interlocked with incredible precision. As scientists reconstructed the mechanism, they realized they weren't looking at a simple tool. They were looking at a machine over 2,000 years old, one capable of predicting eclipses, tracking the movements of celestial bodies, and calculating astronomical events years in advance. Think about that for a moment. This device existed when most people traveled on foot, when electricity was unknown, when modern engineering was still thousands of years away. Yet somehow, someone built a mechanical computer. Many historians describe the Antikythera Mechanism as one of the most astonishing technological discoveries in human history, because nothing comparable would appear again for more than 1,000 years. Imagine discovering a smartphone inside a medieval castle. That is roughly how shocking this artifact was to researchers. It completely changed what experts believed ancient engineers were capable of achieving. And perhaps that is the most important lesson of all. History is not always as simple as it seems. Sometimes, the people who came before us knew far more than we give them credit for. And sometimes, their greatest achievements survive only as fragments, waiting to be rediscovered. Every artifact on this list tells the same story. The Roman Dodecahedron, the Baghdad Battery, the Lycurgus Cup, the Nebra Sky Disk, the Piri Reis Map, the Voynich Manuscript, and the Antikythera Mechanism. Different places, different cultures, different centuries. Yet all of them leave us with questions that still do not have complete answers. Perhaps future discoveries will solve these mysteries, or perhaps some secrets will remain hidden forever. And that brings us to one final question. Out of all 7 artifacts, which one fascinated you the most? And which one do you think is the hardest to explain? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of the ancient world, subscribe for more stories that challenge what we think we know, because even after centuries of exploration, there are still discoveries capable of surprising us, still mysteries capable of humbling us, and still secrets waiting to be uncovered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next journey.